So I'm currently in research mode for high yielding funds listed on the US stock market, and I came across a bunch of great funds. I have to say that as a Canadian investor, I am extremely jealous of you Americans. As usual, when it comes to the stock market, you just can't beat the USA. So I'm doing this research primarily for version 2.0 of my digital product, the Ultimate Dividend Passive Income Investing Package, which will have all these great US funds that I'm finding. These funds will be great for you Americans out there who really like my income focused strategy, as well as for Canadians to put in their RRSP accounts. This is simply because the RRSP account is completely immune to the 15% withholding tax on US dividends. Now, while doing this research in the last couple of weeks, I came across something I never saw before. A really high yield fund of 11% where its current stock price is at a 30% discount compared to its NAV, or its net asset value. I have never seen a discount this big ever. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, the NAV price, or net asset value, of a fund is what the fund is actually worth. The stock price of a fund is what the fund is currently being traded for on the stock market. So when you invest in a stock, you're buying it at the market price. The NAV price, however, can be lower than the current stock price or higher than the current stock price. So if the NAV is lower than the stock market price, the fund is worth less than what it's currently listed for. So the stock is trading at a premium if that's the case. If the NAV is higher than the stock market price, the fund is worth more than what it's currently listed for. So the stock is trading at a discount. And I've never seen such a huge discount of 30% until now. Let's check out this fund together, guys, as it might just be the most discounted high yield fund of the year. Going back to the NAV price versus the stock price, I just want to show you with a few examples so you could actually visualize and see what I'm actually talking about. So let's take a few examples. Let's start with Canoe EIT Income Fund. You actually see here the NAV of $11.31 and the actual TSX stock price is $11.24. So they're almost the same, but there's a little difference. Let's take GDV, the Global Dividend Growth Split Corp. So you see the NAV is $10.84, but the stock price, or the closing price, is $11.57. So this one here would be trading at a premium because the NAV is lower than the stock price. eSplit, same thing. The NAV is $12.03, where the stock price is about $13. So this one also is trading at a premium. And it's not only funds, it's also income funds. I mean, it's also ETFs as well, but ETFs are usually a lot closer. So look at ZWC, the market price $17.47, but the NAV price $17.49. CI First Asset, FLI, the NAV is $9.89, the market price is $9.91. So there's just a few examples so you can actually visualize and put into practice what I was talking about earlier. So here is the fund in question, guys. It's called the Highland Global Allocation Fund. The stock symbol is HGLB. And as you could see, it's a closed-end fund designed to provide low correlation to US equity markets. So they apply a global thematic investing style, pursuing investment that management team views as undervalued, built around high conviction themes. So they're pretty much just saying that they stock pick, right? They choose the investments. It's not a classic approach where they just get the biggest equities and write covered calls on them. So this is really a stock picking type of fund. And this is really what caught my eye. You could see here that the NAV as of March 31st is $10.95. So this is what the fund is actually worth. But when we go to the stock price, it's currently trading at $7.67. That's a 30% discount. If you do $10.95 minus 30%, you'll get about 7.67, which is absolutely incredible. Now, if we look at the yield here, it's currently 11.11% dividend yield annually, which is pretty insane. The current dividend is 85 cents a year, and the stock, this fund does give out the distributions monthly. So if we go back here, if we actually open the stock, the fact sheet, we'll get some more information about it. Here it is, the fact sheet. So you could just see what this fund does. I mean, you got top-down allocation, process, etc., etc. So basically they're stock pickers. The distribution is monthly. The fund is actually pretty big. It's not like it's a small tiny fund. It's over 200 million. It says here, it might be outdated. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't say anything here, but it's about 200 million as per the stock sheet. Last I checked, it was about that. And as you could see here, it actually tells you, keep in mind that this fact sheet is a little bit old. It's Q4 2020, so it's a few months behind. But 4 months ago or so, the discount to the NAV was 34%. It was even higher, a higher discount than what it is now. So obviously the gap is closing in. So you saw that 4 months ago, the stock price was $6.53 and the net asset value was $10.01. Whereas right now, 3 months later, it's at $10.95. So it is recovering, which is a good thing. In terms of what this fund has, it has 75 holdings, but if we go down, we could actually see the top exposure of the fund. And TerraStar Corp, a company that I've never heard of, actually has a huge chunk of this fund, 33%. So to find out what TerraStar is, I actually had to go in their annual report, which is right here. All you need to do is just click on annual report to get this page. So this explains that TerraStar, the fund's largest single name position is here it is, privately held nationwide licensee of wireless spectrum, an asset that most people use every day. So it has to do with wireless communications signals. So it's a private company, so it's not listed on the stock market. This is what I mean when this fund has really funky and alternative assets. Now, if you scroll down, you can actually get the details of exactly what's in this fund, the whole breakdown. You see net assets 200 million. So you see all the breakdown here. Most of it is US equity, then there's non-US equity. And if I go back to the fact sheet real quick, you could actually see that at the bottom. So this is maybe a bit better to show you. So it's 70% equity, 14% MLPs, which are basically energy pipeline companies. And you got some fixed income as well, high yield bonds, floating rate loans. But here's the breakdown in terms of region. So most of it is US, 54%, but you also have some global in here. So I really like the diversification of this fund, all things considered, even though TerraStar makes up a really big chunk of the fund. So if you scroll down, go back to the annual report, you could actually see the top holdings. And if you keep scrolling down, you could actually see really all the breakdown, every single thing that's in this fund. So I'm not going to go through it exactly, but I encourage you to check it out if you're interested in this fund. So all you got to do is go on the homepage, and there's the fact sheet here, and there's the annual report right here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the actual dividend policy. Obviously, I haven't touched upon it yet, and there's nothing about it in the fact sheet. To actually find their dividend policy, all you have to do is go to the press releases and open the latest one where they declare their monthly distribution. So here it is from January 21st. And as you could read here, they say what the distribution is, 71 cents. It's 7.1 cent a share per month, which equals to exactly 85 cents, right? If I'll just show you real quick, if we go to the monthly dividends, here it is, 7.1 cent a month. That equals to 85 cents a year. And here is the policy. Under the fund's level distribution policy, the annual distribution rate has been reset to an amount equal to 8.5% of the average of the fund's net asset value as reported for the final 5 trading days of 2020. So what does this mean? Well, basically, whatever the NAV is of the fund for the last couple of days of the trading year, all you have to do is apply 8.5% to it to actually get the annual yield of 85 cents. So let's say it gets reset for next year, and let's say the NAV stays at 10.95. Well, all we need to do is do 10.95 plus 8.5%, and that will give us the new annual distribution rate for the year. So as you can see, if it stays the same, it will actually become 93 cents instead of 85 cents. So if the price keeps going up or it stays the same, it means that the dividend will actually become a lot higher starting in 2022. Not that I'm complaining about 11.11%, but if it's 93 cents, well, all we have to do is 93 cents divided by the stock price, 7.67 times 100. So the yield, I don't know what happened there. So 0.93 divided 7.67 times 100. So the yield would actually become 12.12% if we pick up the stock at this price and if the dividend gets reset to 93 cents starting in 2022. So really, really incredible potential for some really high yield, not only now, but even more so down the line. I mean, right now it's 10.95, but it could go to 11.50. We don't know. The higher it goes, the higher the dividend will be. So that's what I wanted to show you guys in terms of the distribution policy. Very important whenever you're trying to find and you can't find the distribution policy, always look at the actual press release when they release the distribution, and there you'll usually get the distribution policy. So there you have it, guys. HGLB from Highland Capital Management. I personally invested $10,000 in this fund in my RRSP account to avoid that 15% tax on dividends. This holding now makes up about 6% of my overall RRSP account. So there are a lot of things to like about this fund. Number one, the exposure is pretty niche. It's pretty funky. It's what I like to call alternative exposure, which can definitely add some diversification to a classic equity portfolio. But considering the top holding is a Telecom based company, I absolutely love that. Number two, the enormous 11% dividend yield, which will stay 11% this year due to the distribution policy of this fund, which targets a yield of 8.5% on the NAV, not the stock price, and is reset every year. 8.5%, by the way, is a very conservative distribution policy if you ask me. I've seen funds that have 10% of NAV, 12.5% of NAV, or even 21% of NAV. That's what CLM does. Number three, the NAV is currently at 10.95. So if it stays this way, or even better, it goes up during the year, it means that the dividend will increase starting in 2022, making the yield about 12% if we invest in it now with the stock price trading under $8. Number four, the distributions are monthly, perfect for an income-focused buy and hold investor like myself who really wants cash every single month. Now, very important, guys, I don't think you should go nuts here and invest a huge portion of your portfolio in this one fund. I say this because I am now aware that people actually do listen to what I say. So I feel a big sense of responsibility towards all my viewers. So a balanced approach is key when it comes to investing and life in general. So be careful. I would only invest a small portion in this fund, even though it looks amazing. It's just a matter of logic and reason, right? So it definitely might be a great addition to your portfolio if you're a high income focused investor like myself. It's a great candidate for the RRSP for us Canadians, but don't bet the house on it. You know what I mean? Take a small position, see how it goes. That's what I'm doing. So if you like this video, please support me. Please support this channel by hitting that like button. I would really appreciate it. And if you like high yield stock picks in Canada or in the US, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel, because this is what this channel focuses on. We focus on a income focused approach to investing, where the goal is really to maximize your passive income every single month to enhance your quality of life. Nothing, and I mean nothing, beats consistent and relatively safe passive income. Also, make sure to check out our website, guys, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you could get the digital product that I discussed at the beginning of this video. And on top of that, you could book a one-on-one video consultation with me personally, where you could ask me all the questions you want. I'll help you build a portfolio, help you modify an existing portfolio. So you could do that very easily by choosing a date on the giant calendar right on the homepage of my website. So I'm already full until end of May, which is incredible. So sorry for delay if you're interested, but you could do your reservations for June as of now. So with that, take care, guys. Stay safe, get vaccinated as soon as it's your turn, and see you next time.